In the 5th year of my marriage to my wife, she started keeping a man behind my back. You are much more capable than my husband. Pei, I really like you, and I can give you everything. My body, my house, and even my husband's property, as long as you are happy. She said flirtatiously, leaning into the arms of her cheating partner. She thought she had kept it a secret well and was still a good wife and mother at home. Little did he know that I was already preparing for the divorce procedures. In the office. I am organizing the materials needed to sue for extramarital infidelity. Brother, is my sister-in-law really cheating on me? My sister asked me in disbelief. She obviously loves you so much, who wouldn't say she is virtuous and loyal? Virtuous and loyal. I sneered. Jiangji and I have been married for 5 years, and everyone says that she loves me. She knew I had a bad stomach, so she got up early every day to make me a warm breakfast. She knew I was prone to migraines, so she gave me a massage every time she came home from overtime. She knelt in the temple for 3 hours just to ask for a peace charm for me. She called me every day to ask about my well-being, and she showed up on time when I needed her. But such a well-known good wife and virtuous helper was panting lustfully under another man. She bit the man's ear and said coquettishly, "My man is not as capable as you. Pei, I really like you. I can give you everything except marriage. My body, my house, and even my husband's property, as long as you are happy." I closed my eyes and stopped thinking about the scene I overheard that day. Xiaoxi, please don't tell anyone about my plan to divorce your sister-in-law. I can handle it myself. I said to Lu Yanqi. I know this. Lu Yanqi nodded at me. Brother, since my sister-in-law has betrayed you, you must retaliate fiercely. I answered softly, my eyes sweeping over the photo of the couple standing on the table. The next second, I threw this photo into the trash can. I'll make her regret it. In the evening, I returned home. The lights were off and it was pitch black. Jiangji is not at home. I went to the fridge and got a can of beer to drink. Thinking back to the time when I confessed my feelings to Jiangji, I was also under the influence of alcohol. She was so excited that tears welled up in her eyes. She took the initiative to kiss me and said to me, "As long as you don't betray me, I will never betray you. Heaven is my witness, and those who violate it will be struck by lightning." Thinking about it now, things have really changed. I am still the man who loved Jiangji wholeheartedly, but Jiangji is no longer the well-behaved and gentle woman whose eyes were only filled with me. Halfway through the drink, the door clicked. Jiangji is back. Hubby. She was surprised for a moment, then quickly recovered her composure. Why did you come back so early today? She came towards me and gave me a massage as usual. Have you been drinking? Are you worried about something? I leaned back on the sofa, looking at the faint kiss marks on her neck without changing my expression. Don't you usually stay at home at night? Huh? Did I say that? Maybe you remembered it wrongly. Jiangji casually brushed it off, then smiled and pointed at the packed roast goose on the table. I just went out to buy some roast goose, and I'll make you a bowl of noodles when you come back. You have a bad stomach, and you'll have a stomachache if you eat on an empty stomach at night. Jiangji is still so considerate and gentle. However, what kind of disgusting face is hidden behind her considerate and gentle mask? It seems like you've insisted on making me midnight snacks every day for the past 5 years. I said, looking at the bag of packaged roast goose. Jiangji smiled and said, "Oh, that's nothing. As long as you enjoy your meal, I'm happy." Her tone was so gentle, but it sounded like needles pricking my ears. Do you remember? The first time you made me a midnight snack, you were not very good at cooking. Your fingers were cut by the knife and your wrists were burned by the steam, but you smiled when you brought the pork rib soup to me. I took a deep breath and clenched the beer can. I said, "It doesn't matter if you can't cook, we can hire a nanny and you can live more comfortably," but you refused. Honey, do you remember what you said at that time? I looked up at Jiangji. She was avoiding my gaze. It's been so long. You said at the time that you couldn't trust others cooking as much as your own, and the meaning is different. You can learn if you don't know how to cook. Even though it may not taste great at first, it represents your love. Jiangji finally noticed something was wrong. She sat down next to me and took my hand with concern. Honey, what's wrong with you? Why are you talking about these things all of a sudden? I smiled indifferently and pulled my hand back. Nothing. Just chatting. Thank you for taking care of me for so many years. Why are you talking to me about hardship? She frowned, rarely showing a distressed expression. When we first got married, she felt bad when I got up early, felt bad when I worked overtime, and even felt bad when I had a fever or a cold and had to get in for a drip. She told me that the highest level of love is heartache. But I haven't seen her like this for a long time, and I don't know whether she is sincere or not this time. I didn't marry you for a good life. After we got married, you ran around for the family, and I saw it all. If I have to say how hard it was, you were the one who had the hardest time. Jiang Ji stroked my eyebrows and smiled. Lu Huichuan, I love you. The future is unpredictable, but there is only one thing I, Jiang Ji, can be sure of, and that is that I love you. It turns out that love can be expressed so easily. She also said something similar when she was having sex with the man named Pei Yi. So, is her heart big enough to accommodate two men at the same time, or are these promises worthless to her and just a necessary means of flirting? There was a faint smell of smoke on Jiang Ji's body, and her stockings had holes in them, which she had stuffed carelessly into her bag. I pretended not to see it. She said to me through the bathroom door, "Honey, let's spend our 5th anniversary at home, shall we? We've always gone out, but I want to make it special this time." "Okay, I'll do as you say. There will be a surprise then." She raised the ending tone in a mysterious way. "It just so happens that I have a surprise for you too." I stroked the divorce agreement that I had hidden in my briefcase and said meaningfully, "Really? I'm really looking forward to it. Honey, you're so nice." I smiled and said nothing more. In this drama that goes between people's hearts and stomachs, Jiang Ji, I will accompany you to the end. The TV was turned up loud. Jiang Ji was chatting with someone on his cell phone. I slept in the same bed with her, but she could still flirt with others in front of me without restraint. I watched her laugh heartily at one moment and then blush like a girl. I can guess what they are talking about without even looking. A week ago, I took it out and read it while she was busy in the kitchen. Her lock screen password is our wedding date. Her screensaver is a snapshot of me cutting the cake for her on her birthday. But her chat records with other men were full of obscene and pornographic conversations. "Baby, I love you. Lu Huichuan is just a piece of wood. You are much funnier than him. I feel so bored every time I see his face that I can't even concentrate on bed. Baby, Jiang Ji's husband's position is just an empty shell. You are my true love. Baby, I'm wearing this tonight. Old place, come quickly. Baby, I miss you so much. I hope you can come to me." Looking at these explicit messages and thinking of my usually quiet and traditional wife, I just felt an uncontrollable nausea in my throat. "Honey, what are you doing in the room? Come out and eat." Jiang Ji shouted into the house while serving the dishes. I put her phone back into her pocket intact, replied to her as if nothing had happened, and walked out of the room. She thoughtfully served me some rice and brought it to me. "Why do you look listless? Did you not sleep well last night?" Before I could answer her, she smiled, "But you are still handsome even if you are like this. My husband is the most handsome and humorous man in the world. You are worthy of being the husband chosen by me, Jiang Ji. I will never feel bored if I stay with you for the rest of my life." I looked at her, but couldn't even muster a fake smile. Jiang Ji, how many truths and lies are coming from your mouth? Husband. Jiang Ji's call brought my thoughts back to reality. "Why did you suddenly pull my arm? It hurts me." She acted coquettishly towards me and patted my face gently. "Are you jealous because I was only playing with my phone and not talking to you? Oh, my dear little dog, you are a jealous person, aren't you?" She came over with a smile, stroked my hair like she was playing with a pet, and rubbed my ears. Okay, it's all my fault. I won't ignore you anymore." I pushed her away with some disgust. She was stunned for a moment, but didn't ask why. Suddenly, her cell phone rang. "Someone calls you so late at night. It seems you are very busy lately." I looked down at the magazine in my hand and sneered twice. "We're just ordinary friends." she said, answering the phone. I couldn't hear what was being said on the other end, I only knew Jiangji kept replying, the scent of gardenia is the best. She wrapped herself in the quilt tightly and occasionally stole a glance at me. She seemed to enjoy the excitement of being in the dark. After hanging up the phone, she took the initiative to explain to me, my friend asked me to go shopping tomorrow. She wants to buy a new perfume recently. She doesn't want one that's too strong or too light, so she came to ask me for my opinion. I recommended the gardenia scent to her. She also said she wanted to give me one and asked if I wanted one. I smiled wryly, your friend is really special. By the way, vintage clothes are very popular recently, that is, second-hand clothes. Maybe they suit your friend's taste. You can go shopping there with her tomorrow. Jiangji didn't understand the hidden meaning of my words. Instead, she was so aroused by the men that she sat on me and unbuttoned me. Honey, we haven't done it recently. I want. Before she finished her words, I pushed her away. Sorry, I'm sleepy. Go to bed early. The next day, I went to work as usual. After I walked away, Jiangji packed up, put on makeup, and went out. But she didn't know that I had already installed a monitoring system on her mobile phone. I know everything she says and does. I sat in the office, drinking tea and checking on Jiangji's movements. She met the man named Pei Yi. As soon as the two met, they hugged each other and kissed each other, with the sound of their saliva being deafening. You come out so early to get a room with me, won't your man be suspicious? He went to work, and I told him I was going shopping with a friend today and would be back later. Hey, you clever little fellow. They were bored for a long time. Then I heard the shower. I took off my headphones, too lazy to listen to the noisy moans. In fact, I have known about the affairs of Jiangji and Pei Yi for a long time. On the third day after Jiangji and Pei Yi started dating, Pei Yi called me to assert his sovereignty. Are you Jiangji's useless husband? He sneered, I advise you to divorce Jiangji as soon as possible and divide the property, otherwise it will be embarrassing and you won't be able to save face. I have seen the mistress. This is the first time I have seen such an arrogant mistress. I fought back without hesitation, you're so anxious to get me to share your wealth, are you afraid you'll die to spend it all? You're just being stubborn. I wonder if you can still be so arrogant when your wife is being fucked by me. After hanging up the phone, it took me a long time to recover. After all, if a strange man calls you and says that your always perfect wife is actually having an affair with a gigolo, no one would believe it, right? I wanted to confess to Jiangji, but I didn't know how to start talking about this. However, a few days later, the call came again. Want to know how wild your wife can be in my bed? Come to room 104 of the Imperial Courtyard and you will find out. I went to the address Pei Yi gave me. But I saw the thing I was most reluctant to admit in my life, my wife really cheated on me. Her hands were tightly around Pei Yi's neck, her legs were tightly around Pei Yi's waist, her eyes were blurred, and she kept saying, I want more, over and over again. I am stupid. I really wanted to rush in right away and kick this couple to the ground. But reason tells me that doing so would be too easy for them. The consequences they have to bear should not be just being caught in adultery. I left in silence. Life went on as usual, as if I had never seen what happened that night. But this life will soon come to an end. Just wait until the 5th anniversary. I personally prepared great gifts for them, and I hope their reactions won't disappoint me too much. I finished the task at hand and put on my headphones again. At this time, Jiangji and Pei Yi had finished. Gigi, I don't want to be a lover who can't be seen in public for the rest of my life. You don't like Lu Huichuan anymore anyway, so why don't we just? Pei Yi made a gesture of wiping his neck. Are you crazy? Jiangji suddenly said in a harsh voice. What's wrong? Are you afraid of being caught if you do something dirty? I definitely won't do anything too obvious, like. Stop talking. Jiangji interrupted Pei Yi seriously, I warn you, don't have such evil thoughts in the future. It's rare for Jiangji to say something for me. At this moment, I don't know whether I should feel lucky or sad. Okay, if you don't want to tell me, don't be angry. Pei Yi didn't take Jiang Ji's warning to heart. He hugged Jiang Ji and kissed her again and again. I just feel sorry for you because I see you being bound by that man every day. He didn't restrict me. He respected me and loved me. Really? I don't believe it. If he was really that good, would you find another man behind his back? Jiang Ji was stunned for a moment, then asked calmly, Pei Yi, do you have any favorite dishes? Huh? What do you mean? Lu Huichuan is like that dish. No matter how much I like it, if I stare at the same dish 365 days a year, I will get tired of it. It's really interesting to hear this coming from her. Jiang Ji and I met at the age of 18, confirmed our relationship at the age of 21, got married at the age of 24, and had a happy marriage for more than 4 years. It had been nearly 10 years since I first met her and she cheated on me. During these 10 years, I thought it was the beginning of witnessing true love, but unexpectedly it was the beginning of change of heart. I still remember that when we were in love, Jiang Ji liked to stick with me. It was not only a psychological liking for me, but also a physical dependence on me. We went to and from get out of class together, went to the cafeteria to get food together, and when we were the closest, we even had to make an appointment to go to the bathhouse to take a bath. She always enjoys leaning on me and sleeping peacefully in my arms, touching here and rubbing there, as if she is very interested in every part of my body. Even her lips, which are slightly swollen due to a mild allergy, are a novelty to her. She likes me, likes my rolling Adam's apple, likes my bony fingers, likes my earlobes that easily turn red, likes the ice cream I buy her in the summer, the two of us sitting on a bench beside the cobblestone path of the university, chatting about everything from the setting sun to the mosquito bites that we couldn't stand, but we laughed and talked about whose blood type was more popular, and finally scolded each other for being childish and boring. She likes the roasted sweet potatoes I buy her in the winter, and on the playground on a sunny day, we walked while breathing out hot air. Our noses were frozen red, but we had to pretend that we were not cold, and stayed a little longer, only to find that we had read the wrong timetable and had to rush to the classroom to sign in. She said, Lu Huichuan, I really like you. Why are you so popular? I may end up in your hands in my next life. What should I do? What should I do? She lay on my thighs, rubbing my knuckles, her voice cute and sweet. I asked her with a smile, I said, we are together all day now, won't you get bored of it before we get married? She blinked, as if she heard a very strange question. Lu Huichuan, do you have any favorite dishes? She suddenly asked me. I had the same reaction as Pei Yi, and I was confused. But she put away her smile and answered me very seriously, you are like that dish. No matter how many times I eat it, even if I vomit, I will still miss it the next time I eat it. After she finished speaking, she came over and kissed my eyebrows, the tip of my nose, my earlobes, and my Adam's apple. Soft and moist. She got into my arms, hugged me tightly, looked up at me and said, I just want to tell you that I will never get tired of loving you. I took a deep breath, swallowed the sourness at the bottom of my voice, and threw the headphones into the trash can. There's no need to listen to it anymore, there's nothing I like to listen to anyway. The plan is already underway, there is no need for further monitoring. Brother, Mom said to ask sister-in-law to come home for dinner. Lu Yanqi pushed open the door in the office and said to me. I nodded, got it. Is it really okay? Lu Yanqi asked me tentatively, if you don't want to go, I'll find an excuse for you to go. She treats you like this, and you still have to pretend to be a loving couple with her. How tiring it is. I'm really fine. I touched Lu Yanqi's head with relief. Xiaoxi has grown up and knows how to feel sorry for a brother. Of course. My brother is rich and handsome, he treats his family well and is generous to his relatives. Who wouldn't say good things to him? Only my sister-in-law would leave such a good husband behind and go out to have affairs with other people. Brother, the more I think about it, the more it's not worth it. I used to praise her, but I was infected by her. I was blind. You two have been married for 5 years. You brought her roses every day when you came home. You bought her gold and jade bracelets on her birthday. You spent a lot of money to train her brother. You knew that her skin was delicate, and even asked for the best sheets. When have you ever treated her badly? How could she do this to you? She has no shame. Lu Yanqi became more and more angry as she spoke, and even vented her anger by stomping her feet. Okay, I won't say any more. I sighed, don't tell Mom about these things in advance, okay? When the time comes in a few days, I will go and tell Mom in person, and let her wait a few more days. I know you're worried about Mom's heart condition. Brother, I'm sorry for that. You little rascal, you've suddenly become so sensible. I'm not used to it yet. Where's your previous spoiled nature? I remember when we were little, you bit me and cried so hard when I took a piece of your cake. Lu Yanqi, I haven't forgotten. Your dark history is saved in high definition in my phone. I joked with her. Okay, I feel sorry for you, but you're here to dig up my embarrassing stories, right? Lu Yanqi pretended to be angry, stretched out her index finger and poked my heart, then breathed a sigh of relief and said seriously, I feel relieved to see that you are still in the mood to joke with me. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm fine. Betrayal has become a fact. Instead of being gloomy and self-destructive all day long, I prefer to analyze the situation calmly and do my best to protect my own interests. Finally, fight back. A few more days passed. The third anniversary is finally approaching. The night before our anniversary, I planned to ask Jiang Ji to go to a movie. It was an old movie that was being re-released. Jiang Ji and I went to see it together before we got married. This movie is about a couple who love each other very much and promise to stay with each other for life. But the test of time eventually made the man lose his passion and gradually get bored with his partner. Because of an accident, the man died after failed rescue, but his soul accidentally traveled back to his student days. He decided not to meet the woman again, not to fall in love with her, but chose another beautiful girl who made his heart beat. But life after marriage was not good. The girl was picky, spent money recklessly, and finally cheated on him. The man still had the same ending. He had a car accident and stopped breathing in regret. However, when he woke up, he found that it was just a dream. He was overjoyed and cried with joy while hugging his wife. The movie ends. Many people were moved to tears at that time. Jiang Ji didn't like this movie. She said, even if the prodigal son returns, what can he do? The hurt he brought to the other party is real, and the cheating is also real. If just a light sentence of, I regret it, can change everything, then how can there be so many people in this world who regret their lives? Moreover, it is said that it is pitiful if you regret but have no chance to redeem, but who will pity those who have been hurt and cannot heal for a long time? I was deeply shocked by Jiang Ji's understanding. I asked her, so what do you think is the simplest and most flawless love in the world? She answered me with unconditional love and absolute loyalty. I love you, so I am willing to surrender to you. I am willing to give you all my goodness, and I am willing to bear all your illnesses and pains. I love you, so I will never fall in love with anyone else. You are my only choice and my final choice. I used to think that having a wife like Jiang Ji was a lifetime fortune, something I'd been searching for 1,000 years. She didn't mind my poor family background, didn't dislike my occasional immaturity, and didn't blame me for being jealous. She tolerated my mistakes, comforted my frustrated confidence, and never left me without any complaints. The year I got married, I resolutely quit my job of 4 years and started my own business. But the good times didn't last long. I had no experience and basically lost money in the first year. I didn't give up and borrowed money to start my second business. When we were the poorest, we even had to scrimp and save to buy groceries. That year, Jiang Ji lost 8 kilograms and became 2 shades darker. Looking at her thin face, I almost lost any motivation and passion to start a business. I asked her, do you regret following me? She shook her head, no regrets. What's wrong with having no money? I don't care whether you are rich or penniless. Even if you are destined to be poor and never get rich, and have to suffer all your life, it doesn't matter, as long as you are safe. Besides, I don't think my husband is just like everyone else. You are quick-witted, smart and witty. You have unique ideas that others don't have. If you want to make a breakthrough, I believe you can make a name for yourself. Lu Weichuan, don't frown, you are better than you think. With Jiang Ji's encouragement, my company has improved. After a while, the company's output was just right, and I made my first fortune, and things got better and better from then on. My virtuous wife has helped me achieve my ambitions, and I will give her 10,000 taels of gold. I thought my life was better than most people's. I had money, a loving family, and a wife who was always with me. However, I never expected that one day there would be only resentment and calculation between her and me. What are you thinking about? So absorbed in the subject. Jiang Ji helped me tie my tie and then adjusted my collar, just like he did every day. But the love she once had was no longer visible in her eyes. Thinking about what movie we should watch later. I answered her calmly. Have you thought about it? I figured it out. Which one? The movie we watched on the winter solstice in the second year of our relationship. Oh, that. Jiang Ji nodded. Sure, that's good. It just so happens that I don't remember the plot very well, so it would be interesting to review it again. She helped me fix my collar and patted my chest. Okay. I stared at her for a few seconds, and suddenly asked, Jiang Ji, do you love me? Of course I love you. She smiled and took my arm, as if this was an answer that could be said casually without thinking. She didn't notice my abnormality, but was concentrating on the date that was about to begin tonight. I asked again, do you still love me? This time, she frowned slightly. I love you. After staring at each other for a few seconds, she was the first to look away. What's wrong? You're suddenly being artistic. Jiang Ji smiled and changed the subject, pushing me out the door. Okay, let's go, we're going to be late for the movie. On the way, we rarely spoke. We used to talk about everything, even after Jiang Ji cheated on me, maybe because of guilt, she talked even more and more frequently. But today, she was silent. He must have noticed my unusual mood before I went out. I wonder if she is also suffering from this in her heart. Even if it was a blatant derailment, I would still be ruthless, but she just had more feelings for me. She enjoyed the excitement outside, but missed me at home. She would occasionally regret it and feel that what she did was too unkind, so she made up her mind to return to her family. She started to be extra nice to me, but when the men outside flirted with her, she couldn't help but cheat again. She was wavering between ruthlessness and guilt, but this made her even more hateful. Gigi, what a coincidence. A man came towards them and greeted Jiang Ji. I've seen him. Or rather, I am very familiar with his face. He is Jiang Ji's affair partner, Pei Yi. Jiang Ji was obviously a little flustered. Before I could ask, he immediately made up for it. He is my friend's brother. We have met a few times. Then she turned to introduce Pei Yi. Pei Yi, this is my husband. There was a playful expression on Pei Yi's face. He extended his hand to shake mine. Hello, do you remember me? Have you seen it? Jiang Ji's heart was in her throat. She probably didn't know that Pei Yi had privately declared his sovereignty to me. I just smiled and didn't expose him. Yeah, I've seen him a few times, a long time ago. Then how did you two meet? Jiang Ji asked again. I just smiled and said nothing, and Pei Yi also looked like he was enjoying the show. She stood close to Jiang Ji, but her fingers restlessly went around behind Jiang Ji and pinched her butt teasingly. Jiang Ji was startled and glared at Pei Yi resentfully. What's wrong? I asked her deliberately. No, nothing. Gigi may be feeling guilty, right? Pei Yi interrupted. She made an appointment with my sister a few days ago to come to my house today and make a cake together to celebrate her birthday. I didn't expect that once she stuck with you, her husband, she forgot about her friends. Really? I smiled. But we also agreed to go out on a date the night before our anniversary. How could she agree to go to your house to make a cake today? Besides, it's already evening. I don't know about that. Pei Yi spread his hands. You are husband and wife anyway, and you spend every day together. Good friends only have one birthday. Mr. Liu, why don't you be generous and lend her to me tonight? Pei Yi's face was full of pride. Lend it to you? Isn't she your sister? I asked with a smile. It was just a slip of the tongue. Are you going to make a fuss about it, Mr. Liu? He was smiling the whole time, and just like his name, his ambition could not be hidden. Jiang Ji became even more panicked. She secretly tugged at Pei Yi's clothes, warning him not to cause trouble, but Pei Yi ignored her. In that case, I reached out and pushed Jiang Ji, then I'll lend her to you. Jiang Ji looked at me in surprise. Why Chuan? What's wrong? Since you've made an appointment with your friends, it's not good to break it, right? But tonight. It doesn't matter. Never mind, it doesn't matter anyway. Mr. Liu is so considerate. No wonder you two are still so loving after 5 years of marriage. Pei Yi emphasized the word affection in an attempt to imply my incompetence. He grabbed Jiang Ji's shoulders and held her in his arms. Before Jiang Ji could react, he turned around and left. Thank you, Mr. Liu, for your generosity. Jiang Ji turned her head and looked at me. After seeing me waving at her, she felt relieved and followed Pei Yi away. She secretly patted Pei Yi's face. Are you going to die? You came here so blatantly to ask for someone, I was scared to death by you. Pei Yi smiled indifferently and licked Jiang Ji's fingertips with his tongue. This is exciting, isn't it? You bastard. I'm convinced by you. Just wait, I'm going to fuck you tonight. They flirted back and forth. Pei Yi didn't forget to secretly give me the middle finger. I pretended not to see it. Looking at their gradually receding backs, I smiled faintly. The plan began. Jiang Ji didn't come back all night. I spent a fairly pleasant evening. The next morning, the cell phone rang. I slowly answered the phone, and Jiang Ji's voice came from the other end. Did you do it? Her angry voice hit my eardrums. I smiled and said, Honey, what's the matter? Of course I know what it is. Seeing how angry she looked, it should be just as I expected. 2 people were naked, glued together with super glue, and sent to the hospital overnight. In fact, it would be fine as long as they don't use the condoms I secretly stuffed into Jiang Ji's bag. But unfortunately, they didn't. Jiang Ji was silent for a long while and didn't say anything. I then said, Honey, you didn't come home last night, and I couldn't get through to you on the phone. I was very worried about you. You really don't know? Jiang Ji asked me hesitantly. Is there anything I need to know? She paused. No. It's okay. Honey, did you have fun with your friends last night? Don't forget our 3rd anniversary today. I have prepared a surprise for you. I guarantee it will surprise you. What surprise? I spoke so sincerely that Jiang Ji thought about it and dispelled his doubts about me. It's a secret. It will definitely surprise you. I smiled. But before that, you'd better come back quickly. We still have to go to the hotel early. What are you going to do at the hotel? After all, it's our 5th anniversary. I invited both sets of parents to have a meal together to witness our love. Jiang Ji had completely dispelled her concerns about me, and her previous angry tone turned into a coquettish tone. Okay. Honey, I'll be back soon. Wait for me obediently. I took my time washing and dressing up at home, put on a tailor-made suit that I rarely wore, and combed my hair until it was shiny. Today is a good day. I'm looking forward to it. When Jiang Ji arrived home and saw me, he was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, Why are you suddenly dressed so formally? I've never seen you dress up before, but I didn't expect you to look so handsome like this. She came over, hugged my waist, stood on tiptoes, and looked up at me. Honey, happy 5th anniversary. I nodded and took a dress to separate me from her. Go try on the clothes. I bought you a new dress. My husband is the best. Jiang Ji complimented her and went into the room with the skirt. When she came out again, she was already wearing her skirt. She had her hair tied up, a pearl necklace around her neck, and the 3-carat diamond ring on her right hand was even more dazzling. She turned around happily and asked me, Honey, does it look good? The dress made her look stunning, just as she had been on our first date. At that time, the breeze lifted her skirt, she pulled up her hair, and kissed me gently on the left cheek. Lu Huichuan, do I look good? Nice. This is how I answered her then, and this is how I answer her now. Jiang Ji came over and held my hand. Our 2 diamond rings touched each other and she smiled. I am so beautiful and I married you who are so handsome, Lu Huichuan. We are the happiest people in the world. Okay, it's getting late. I pulled my hand back and didn't reply. Mom and Dad should be waiting. Let's go quickly. Yeah, okay. I took Jiangji to the hotel I had booked early in the morning. My parents and her parents were already seated. Oh, our Gigi is so beautiful today. Huichuan, you are so lucky. As soon as my mother-in-law saw us, she pulled Jiangji and started to praise her. You can't say that. After my sister-in-law followed my brother, he never treated her badly. She had everything she wanted. If you have to say it, it should be my sister-in-law who is blessed, right? Lu Yanqi stiffened her neck, glanced at her mother-in-law with contempt, and said sarcastically with a hint of meaning in her words. Hey, you girl. When your brother was poor, our Gigi didn't despise him. The mother-in-law heard the hidden meaning in Lu Yanqi's words and continued to be sarcastic. Our Gigi is soft-hearted. When Huichuan was so poor, Gigi refused to divorce. Who wouldn't say she was a good wife and a loving mother? It can be said that without our Gigi, we wouldn't have the glory we have now. Huichuan, don't you agree? My mother-in-law has always had a vicious tongue. Since my family was not wealthy, she always looked down on me. Even though I later made a great comeback, bought a car and a house, and started my own company, she still felt that it was only Jiangji's credit and had nothing to do with me. She mocked my mother for her humble background and short stature, my sister for her rough skin and average face, and even my father-in-law sometimes couldn't escape her criticism. In her eyes, Jiangji is the only one in the world who is unique and perfect, and no one is worthy of her daughter. However, she will soon stop thinking that way. I took a sip of wine slowly. My mother-in-law is right. Gigi is virtuous, she can handle things in an orderly manner at home, and she doesn't have promiscuous relationships with other men outside. It is my blessing to marry her. Of course. My mother-in-law was proud again after hearing my praise. Don't you see who gave birth to her? Our Gigi, like me, has been efficient at work since she was young, and she is very loyal to people. Not to mention cheating, it's impossible for her to remarry. She is such a good girl, Huichuan, you must hold on to her well, don't treat her badly with all the clothes and jewelry. Don't be reluctant to spend money on her, after all, Gigi dresses brightly and beautifully, isn't it also to give you face outside? If she is really a good wife, I will treat her with my heart and buy her all the gifts she deserves. But my mother snorted softly, I don't know if it's true or not. No, mother-in-law, what do you mean by that? Are you saying that our Gigi is pretending to be virtuous? Oh my, I really saw the viciousness in other people's mouths. Isn't it just a little money? You are so arrogant. You used to be poorer than our family, but now you are rich and become a wealthy old lady. So you come to make things difficult for our Gigi, right? Gigi takes care of the housework at home. Who would not say that she is Huichuan's virtuous wife? What else do you want to find fault with? There is no one in the world who can do better than our Gigi. You should be happy to have such a daughter-in-law. Mom, stop talking. Jiangji tugged at her mother-in-law's sleeve. It seemed that she had some self-awareness. Hey, you old woman, what are you talking about? Lu Yanqi was angry and slammed the table as if she was about to start a fight. Fortunately, my mother pulled Lu Yanqi back in time. Mother-in-law, you're overthinking it. I'm just using those unfaithful women as a comparison. If I really had a virtuous daughter-in-law, I would naturally be secretly happy. Gigi, don't you agree? Ah. Jiangji was suddenly asked, feeling a little guilty. Yes. Mother-in-law is right. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Today is a good day, let's talk about something happy. I clapped my hands and said. This little episode came to an end and I brought the atmosphere back to normal. After all, it's just an appetizer. If we have a quarrel now, the rest of the meal will be meaningless. Huichuan is right. Today is a good day. Let's not talk about things that ruin our mood. Jiangji smiled awkwardly and continued with what I said, on a good day, we have to talk about good things. So I'll start with a good start and tell you a happy event. What's up? Everyone looked towards her. I am pregnant. Jiangji stroked her belly, lowered her head and smiled sweetly. My brothers. Lu Yanqi twitched the corner of her mouth. How can you talk like that, kid? Of course it's your brothers. If it's not your brothers, whose else could it be? The mother-in-law curled her lips. Jiang Ji didn't expect Lu Yanqi to ask this. She was stunned and only reacted when her mother-in-law pushed her. She squeezed her lips awkwardly. Xiaoxi is really good at joking. So, it's definitely my brother's, right? Lu Yanqi kept asking questions, and no one could stop her. No, mother-in-law, what's wrong with your daughter today? Why is she always targeting our Gigi? I know that sisters-in-law are always vicious, but there is no need to curse the baby in our Gigi's belly, right? The mother-in-law stared. Let me ask you, if the baby in Gigi's belly is not Huichuan's, whose else could it be? Lu Yanqi smiled and spread her hands. I don't know, isn't that what I'm asking? Sister-in-law, the child is my brother's, right? Jiang Ji was so nervous that her forehead was sweating and her palms were sticky. She thought she had kept the affair well hidden, but her sister-in-law asked about it in a joking way, which caught her off guard. She grinned and forced out an extremely ugly smile. Of course it's your brother's. But just as she finished saying this, the next second, everyone present received a video on their mobile phones at the same time. The father-in-law clicked it first, but heard an unbearable sound. The woman in the video is Jiang Ji. Baby, I want more. Baby, how come you are so awesome? Ah, baby, do it again. Why can't I move? Damn, I'm stuck. What are the inferior condoms for sale? It's so spicy. Ah, it's so spicy. It's so spicy inside. What's going on? I can't take it anymore, it's killing me. What are you standing there for? Call an ambulance. No. How can I keep my dignity if I'm carried into the car like this? Are you stupid? You don't want to live, but I do. Call an ambulance. The scenes in the video flashed by frame, from the previous carefree life to the sudden situation last night, all were recorded one by one. The mother-in-law was stunned. The father-in-law's face immediately turned dark. As for Jiang Ji, he was already frightened to the point of having a stiff face and shaking body. Oh my god, who is that person in this video? So slutty. Why does he look like my sister-in-law? Lu Yanqi pretended to capture Jiang Ji's face and showed it to her. Sister-in-law, look, does he look like you? Jiang Ji was still immersed in fear and shock, motionless and silent. Lu Yanqi then added fuel to the fire. Sister-in-law, the person in the video shouldn't be you, right? You are a good woman, how could you do such a thing? Oh, by the way, this must be AI face swapping, right? Sister-in-law, please say something. If you don't explain, everyone will misunderstand. I, the one in the video. Jiang Ji mechanically uttered a few words, and finally, she simply covered her face and didn't say a word. Mother-in-law, can you give me an explanation? Seeing this, my mother slammed the table and said with a stern face. Impossible, this is definitely not our Gigi. How could our Gigi be so indecent? Huichuan, Gigi is your wife, you must believe her. This video is fake. It's synthesized. The mother-in-law was immediately defeated. She grabbed Jiang Ji's hair fiercely and said, Gigi, say something. Mom, Jiang Ji lowered his head and didn't even dare to look at me. Her eyes were filled with tears and she was at a loss. She just clenched her fists and couldn't utter a word. The mother-in-law stared at them, still unwilling to give up. Jiang Ji, what do you mean by this? Tell them quickly that you didn't do it, you were wronged, don't just stand there, tell them quickly. Tell them quickly. All right. At this time, the father-in-law slammed the table. Ask. The evidence is right in front of you. What are you still asking? Aren't you ashamed enough? The father-in-law held his breath, he was furious, he stood up and walked to Jiang Ji. Dad, I didn't mean to. Before Jiang Ji could finish his words, his father-in-law slapped him in the face. Don't call me dad, I don't have a daughter like you. After the father-in-law finished speaking, he left angrily. Jiang Ji turned to look at me. Huichuan, listen to my explanation. Okay. I smiled with interest. Then I'll listen to your explanation. If you have any difficulties, you can tell me now, or you are forced. I can also help you with the lawsuit. Okay, tell me. When Jiang Ji heard this, he was speechless. Her lips trembled and she tried to speak several times, but she couldn't utter a word. Yes, Huaichuan is right. Gigi, if you have any difficulties, please tell Huaichuan. Huaichuan will help you make the decision. The mother-in-law was so anxious that she was turning around. That's right, sister-in-law, you know that my brother likes you the most. If you were forced, I believe my brother will give you justice. Lu Yanqi proudly admired her newly done manicure, and then asked, so, sister-in-law, were you raped? Do I even need to ask? It must be true. Huaichuan, you know best what kind of person our Gigi is. Our Gigi was forced. Huaichuan, you must arrest the men in the video. Mother-in-law, I also want to support Gigi, but it is not up to me to decide whether it was rape or not. Gigi has to say it herself. I said calmly while drinking a cup of tea. My mother-in-law was like an ant on a hot pot at this moment, her mind was in a mess. When she heard what I said, it was like she had grabbed a life-saving straw. She turned her head to look at Jiang Ji and shook her body hard. Huaichuan is right. Gigi, tell Huaichuan quickly, you were forced, right? You must have been forced. You have to let Huaichuan help you with the lawsuit quickly, and you go and identify the bastard in person and make him spend the rest of his life in jail. Oh no. Just shoot him. Yes, shoot. Mom, Jiang Ji stammered for a long time, and her mother-in-law's patience was completely exhausted. She raised her hand and slapped Jiang Ji. You have been hesitating for a long time, why don't you say something? Why are you pretending to be dumb? You are useless. Jiang Ji covered her red and swollen face, tears flowing uncontrollably. Unfortunately, her cell phone rang at this moment. She glanced at the notes and held her breath. Why not? I said with a smile, maybe the other party has something urgent to do. Although our situation is a bit tricky, it doesn't matter. There is still time to answer the phone. Jiang Ji was stunned and I said, how about I help you answer it? No. No need. I'll answer it myself, I can answer it myself. Jiang Ji hurriedly snatched the phone. She looked at the familiar name, pursed her lips, pressed the answer button awkwardly, and tremblingly put the phone to her ear. Hello. Jiang Ji, come and save me, I've been caught. Why is it a man's voice? The mother-in-law snatched the phone. Who are you? What is your relationship with Jiang Ji? Who the hell are you? Let Jiang Ji answer the phone. Otherwise, if you miss the time, I'll kill you. Who are you talking to? Who are you trying to kill? This is outrageous. The mother-in-law was so angry that she hung up the phone. It seems the truth has come out. Lu Yanqi took a sip of red wine. Sister-in-law was not forced, but really cheated, and, so coquettish, so wanton, so cheap. Mother-in-law, is this the good daughter you raised? My mother asked. At this moment, the mother-in-law wished she could dig a hole and crawl into it. She glared at Jiang Ji with her teeth bared. I don't care. You made this mess yourself, so clean it up yourself. You really committed a sin by raising such a lowly child. After the mother-in-law said this, she kicked her feet, waved her hands, and left. My mother had no intention of interfering, so she slowly stood up and said, Yanqi, let's go too. Let them solve their own problems. Okay, Mom. Slow down, I'll help you. Lu Yanqi nodded and left with my mother. There were only 2 of us left in the box. Jiang Ji sat on the ground with a dead heart. She was stunned for a long time and asked me, did you do this? I did it. Just to get revenge on me? Right. Jiang Ji stared at the wedding ring on her hand again and again. Suddenly, she burst into laughter. As she laughed, she started to cry. So you already knew that. She covered her face and curled up her whole body. I was so stupid to think I could keep this secret forever. No wonder. No wonder the wedding photos at home were suddenly put away. No wonder your clothes were kept separate from mine. No wonder you didn't even kiss me. Jiang Ji lost control of his emotions and almost fainted. She held onto the chair, staggered to her feet, and gave me a self-deprecating smile. So, today is just a trap. The 5-year anniversary, the testimony of our love, are all fake. I looked at her indifferently. Actually, it's true. Before I knew she was cheating, I was genuinely looking forward to this family gathering. The 5th anniversary bears witness to our love, which is all real. Unfortunately, she turned the real into a fake with her own hands. Lu Weichuan, you are so ruthless that I have no power to resist at all. She walked out of the private room with a wry smile. Are you going to save Pei Yi? I chased after her and asked. Does it have anything to do with you? Certainly. He is suspected of stealing Lu's secrets and is now in custody. If you want to save him, there are only 2 consequences. First, you admit to helping him steal, and both of you go to jail. Second, you help him perjure, and you personally handed the Lu's secrets to him, not stealing them. Then, he will be acquitted, but you will be arrested. Okay, I've analyzed it for you, Jiang Ji, what are you going to do? Do you really have to go this far? She asked me in disbelief. Yes, I want to kill them all. But don't forget, Lu's is not yours alone. Jiang Ji broke down and shouted loudly, it was me who accompanied you to build Lu's into its current size step by step. It is our common property after marriage. Then you're probably going to be disappointed. I took out a contract from my briefcase. Indeed, Lu's is our joint property. Even if we get divorced, you have the right to inherit a portion, but this expires 1 week ago. I said, handing the contract to Jiang Ji. This is a contract promising to leave the house with nothing. You signed it with your own hands. What? She hurriedly took the contract and confirmed its contents and the signatures of both parties over and over again. When she realized that it was indeed her handwriting, she was dumbfounded. Impossible, impossible. When did this happen? Impossible. She denied it again and again, but the legally binding contract was there and there was nothing she could do about it. Remember? A week ago, you were on the phone with Pei Yi, and I asked you to sign a contract. I told you that it was a beachfront villa I had just bought in Weihai, and I gave it to you as a birthday present, and asked you to sign it. There were loopholes in every word, but you signed it without saying a word. Jiang Ji, I gave you a chance. When you were about to sign, I asked you again and again if you wanted to take a look at the contract, but you just absent-mindedly said you were busy and asked me not to bother you. At that time, you wanted to take a look, just a glance. But Pei Yi had already flirted with you so much that I didn't know where your soul had drifted to. Jiang Ji was dumbfounded after hearing what I said. She tore up the contract frantically. This doesn't count. You lied to me. This doesn't count. It's no use. The copy I gave you was just a photocopy. I have the original. Jiang Ji's pupils suddenly shrank, and he had no way out. Her legs became weak, her body swayed, and she fell directly to the ground. The entire private room was unusually quiet. All that was left was her long and sad cry. After this incident, Jiang Ji and I divorced. As required by the contract, she did not receive a penny. Jiang's mother was a calculating person. When she learned that Jiang Ji was kicked out of the house, she was so angry that she took a broom and drove her out of the house, not allowing her to go back. Jiang's father was a man who cared a lot about his reputation, but Jiang Ji's affair became known to everyone. Jiang's father could not bear the humiliation and directly severed the father-daughter relationship with Jiang Ji. As for Pei Yi, his theft of secrets has been proven, and he will spend the rest of his life in prison. Jiang Ji and I have completely lost contact. I heard that she was not doing well and had gone to other places to do street prostitution. When others asked her about her past, she refused to talk about it. She only said that she had hurt someone and she felt very sorry for him and missed him very much. When I heard these words, I just felt sad. To this day, I still don't think Jiang Ji's love for me is false. But it is also a fact that she betrayed me. Is it true that human hearts are fickle and unpredictable? I don't understand. Maybe there is no way in this lifetime. But we always have to look forward, don't we?